Well, it looks like a pretty decent week in GTA Online with quite a few discounts and a bit of drip feed content. So let's take a look at what's actually worth grabbing from the updates released Thursday, 29th of December, 2022. Hi and welcome back. My name's Dan and I'm an old grumpy gamer. Well, it seems like a pretty decent week in GTA Online with some vehicle and property discounts and bonus weapons. But before we dive in, if you find this helpful, we do lots of Grand Theft Auto Online guides, tips and tricks. So if you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell for more content like this. So let's start with the properties this week, starting with a discount of 30% on hangar purchases and upgrades. As a business, these used to be rubbish. They were only really good for grinding, but since the update they have become significantly better. Hangars let you store helicopters and planes, plus they come with a Cuban, and most importantly, if you purchase at Fort Zancudo, you can access the airbase without a warrant, and that is super handy. As an added bonus, you can also unlock the cargo and shipment section of your nightclub warehouse. So yeah, if you're in GTA Online for the long haul, I definitely recommend grabbing one of these, and I'd strongly recommend grabbing the one at Fort Zancudo. Check out the full guide in the description below. On to vehicles, and the Power Surge drip feed vehicle is first, which retails at $1,605,000. This is a single-seater electric bike. We don't have any top speeds or test info yet, but my word does it get up to speed quickly. The handling's pretty reasonable, but it can get away from you pretty quickly. So if you like bikes, you'll like this. Grab it if you can. So starting with the Howard NX25 for the discounted vehicles this week, which is normally $1,296,750, but is on sale this week at 30% off, bringing it down to $907,725. The Howard NX25 is a one-seater plane that tops out around 203 miles an hour, so that's about 326 Ks. This thing is fast and it's reasonably responsive on the controls. Is it worth the effort though? I mean, it's a reasonable piece of kit for sure, but there are better units out there. Grab it if you can, but I won't be heartbroken if you skip this one. Looking at the GP1, which is normally $1,260,000, but is on sale this week at 30% off, bringing it down to $882 even. This is a two-seater rear-wheel drive 6-speed super that tops out about 123 miles per hour or around 198 Ks. This thing is fast and it pulls hard. The handling on the GP1 is pretty damn good, making this a dream drive. Is it worth getting? I mean, it's not something I'd go out of my way to get, but if you're a fan, then the discount means it's a better time to buy. If you're not a fan though, I'd leave it alone. Over to the Stinger, which is normally $850,000, but is on sale this week at 30% off, bringing it down to $595,000. The Stinger is a two-seater rear-wheel drive 5-speed sports classic that tops out at about 112 miles per hour or about 179 Ks. This thing's pretty quick for what it is, but sluggish on the acceleration, so that lets it down a bit. The handling on the Stinger lets it down a fair bit too, but that's not too bad because it takes a bit of time before you get up to speed. Should you grab it though? Nah, it's not a great sports classic. It's not terrible, but it's not particularly useful either, so I'd leave it alone. Flipping over to the Volatol, which is normally $3,724,000, but is on sale this week at 30% off, bringing it down to $2,606,800. The Volatol is a 4-seater plane that tops out around 165 miles per hour or about 264 Ks. This thing's pretty quick for what it is, but it's really slow to respond and doesn't maneuver well at all, making this a pretty challenging vehicle to master. Should you grab it? Nah, honestly, it's not a great plane. It's not terrible. It's not particularly useful either. I'd leave it alone. So let's have a look at the Pyro, which is normally $4,455,500, but is on sale this week at 30% off, bringing it down to $3,118,850. The Pyro is a two-seater plane that tops out around 222 miles per hour or 356 Ks. And this thing is fast and it gets around really well. So is it worth the money? Absolutely. It is a great piece of kit and the discount makes it even more attractive. Grab it if you have the coin spare. Jumping over to the Rogue, which is normally $1,596,000, but is on sale this week at 30% off, bringing it to $1,117,200. The Rogue is a two-seater plane that tops out around 219 miles per hour or about 351 Ks. And this thing is fast and it's reasonably responsive on the controls. controls. Is it worth the effort though? I mean, it's a reasonable piece of kit for sure, but there are better units out there. Grab it if you're keen, but I won't be heartbroken if you skip this one. Next up, we have the Aqua Blazer, which is normally $1,755,000 and $600, but is on sale this week at 30% off, bringing it down to $1,228,920. The Aqua Blazer is a single-seater all-wheel drive 6-speed off-roader that tops out at around 98 miles an hour or just shy of 160 k's. It's a bit sluggish and doesn't pull real hard either. The handling on the Aqua Blazer is pretty damn good though, which kind of makes sense given how quick the thing goes. Is it worth getting though? I mean, it's not a bad off-roader, it's just not a particularly good one. My vote would be to skip it. Next up, we have the Dubsta 6x6, which is normally $249,000 even, but is on sale this week at 30% off, bringing it down to $174,300. The Dubsta 6x6 is a 6-seater, all-wheel drive, 6-speed off-road SUV that tops out at 103 miles per hour or about 165 k's. This thing is pretty quick for what it is, but sluggish acceleration lets it down a bit. The handling on the Dubsta lets it down a fair bit too, but that's not too bad because it just takes a bit of time to get up to speed. Is it worth the effort though? Yeah, absolutely. It's a versatile off-roader, and the discount means you can spend more money on something else. Grab it if you have the cash. Looking at the Futo GTX, which is normally $1,590,000, but is on sale this week at 30% off, bringing it down to $1,113,000 even. The Futo GTX is a 2-seater rear-wheel drive 5-speed sports tuner that tops out at 119 miles per hour or about 191 k's. This thing's pretty quick for what it is, and it gets up to speed reasonably quickly. The handling on the Futo GTX lets it down a bit though, making it a bit of a challenge to drive on regular roads around the map. So, is it worth the money? Yeah, absolutely. This thing is a great piece of kit, and the discount makes it even more attractive. Grab it if you have the coin spare. Let's have a look at the Dominator GTX, which is normally $725,000 even, but is on sale this week at 30% off, bringing it to $5,075. The Dominator GTX is a 2-seater, rear-wheel drive, 5-speed muscle car that tops out at around 108 miles per hour or a touch over 170 k's. This thing's pretty quick for what it is, and it pulls reasonably hard too. The handling on the GTX is quite reasonable, but it's still pretty lively even so. Is it worth the effort though? Yeah, absolutely. It's a versatile car, and the discount means you can spend more money on something else. Grab it if you have the cash. Over to the Kamacho, which is normally $345,000, but is on sale this week at 30% off, bringing it down to $241,500. The Kamacho is a 4-seater, all-wheel drive 5-speed off-roader that tops out at 116 mile an hour or about 186 k's. This thing is pretty quick for what it is, but the sluggish acceleration can let it down a little bit. The handling on the Kamacho lets it down too, but it's not too bad because it takes you a minute to get up to speed. So is it worth the money? Yeah, absolutely. It's a great piece of kit, and the discount makes it even more attractive. Grab it if you have the coin spare. Flipping over to the trophy truck, which is normally $550,000, but is on sale this week at 30% off, bringing it down to $385,000 even. The trophy truck is a 2-seater all-wheel drive, 5-speed off-roader that tops out at 107 miles an hour or about 171 k's. This thing's pretty quick for what it is, and it pulls pretty hard too. The handling on the trophy truck is actually quite reasonable as well, but it is quite lively. Is it worth getting? I mean, yeah, it's a cracker of a unit and should prove plenty useful. And that's it for this week's discounts. Check out the link top right for this week's GTA Online updates, or the one down the bottom for a bit of a money guide. In the meantime, if you're new to the channel, subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, wash your hands, and we'll see you in the next video.